Guys, everyone get serious. The ASMR is starting now. Not now, Beppo. Mommy is doing ASMR. Okay. Guys, welcome to the ASMR section of the stream. Hello. Welcome in. Hello. Okay. How's this volume? Is this volume okay for your ears? I will also tap lightly upon a pickle jar to test the volume. How does this sound? Does this sound relaxing? Pickle jar. Very nice. Sounds vinegary. Exactly. Guys, are you ready for fanfiction reading ASMR at 3:39 a.m.? I hope everyone's comfy. It's time to start. This fanfiction was suggested by Totally Not Jean, and it's called Bing Bong Origins by Mekrin707. I hope you're ready. I don't know what this is about, but I can guess. Let's get started. Summary. When Bing Bong woke up that morning, for just a percentage of a second, he didn't know who he was. He had forgotten what he had done the night before. What a fool he had made of himself. He had forgotten the drunken rambles, the tears, and the seemingly endless upset. But just as quickly as he forgot, he remembered. 3 months since the divorce, 12 hours since his first date as a divorced man. A Bing Bong fanfic. Gone surprisingly hard, I was told. Goes surprisingly hard, I was told. Notes. Hello. I saw that there is no Bing Bong fanfictions. This is a problem that I have now fixed. Written in 1 hour and a half, with purely vibes and love in my heart. Enjoy. Wow. Baby No Money is going to appear in the story? No, you don't think so, do you? It can't be. It can't be. Do you think? Maybe. Okay, let's begin. Ahem. When Bing Bong woke up that morning, for just a percentage of a second, he didn't know who he was. He'd forgotten what he had done the night before, what a fool he'd made of himself, and he'd forgotten his drunken rambles, the tears, the seemingly endless upset. But just as quickly as he forgot, he remembered. He remembered, for he was sleeping in a bed that was large and cold. He remembered, for it had been 6 months since he had felt the warmth of his beloved wife sleeping next to him. 3 months since the divorce. 12 hours since his first date as a divorced man. Things could not possibly get worse. This was rock bottom. I'm sorry for laughing. It's really sad, Bing Bong. I miss my wife, Dales. I miss her a lot. Sorry, I have to keep this ASMR level of talking. Sorry. I'm keeping it calm and quiet. Okay. Bing Bong looked at the empty side of his bed and realized he had lost his peak. Where things went wrong, he couldn't tell. It happened suddenly. One day, he and Miriam were making pancakes for the kids on a lazy Saturday morning. The next, there were discussions of separation and taking a break. And then came the papers. All of the process was amicable, and nowhere near as problematic as Bing Bong had feared. He still felt the hurt. How couldn't he? Years in a loving marriage, raising children they adored, achieving milestones together as a team, all gone, just like that. Mr. Bong, his divorce... his divorce attorney repeated. Sorry, it's sad. It's just so sad. His divorce attorney repeated, taking Bing Bong out of his own thoughts. Where have you been? Bing Bong blinked in surprise. Since when had he been on the phone? How have you been? I guess so, he responded half-heartedly. That's his lines from the game. I guess so, he responded half-heartedly. Well, with the kid's visitation rights secured, the worst has come to pass, the attorney responded. Yeah. The worst? That was it? Bing Bong couldn't believe it. Because from now on, he would be alone, only seeing his kids on the weekends, and waking up and going to sleep in that empty bed of his. He was half tempted to throw the whole thing away and get himself a smaller one, just to forget that he had ever known what going to sleep in Miriam's arms felt like. Miriam. Oh, Miriam. Bing Bong thought they would last forever, like a fairy tale. But nothing that is good lasts. Everything has to come to an end. Eventually. And the good things, they're the first to go. Things like the debt he still had to pay off from the airline he created, or the scrutiny he faced from the people around him when he and Miriam decided to raise a family together. That was never going away. That Bing Bong would never forget, for that was his life now. The things he had the things he was before haunt him: a father, a family man, a businessman, an innovator in aviation marketing. Now he was Bing Bong, the divorcee on the brink of bankruptcy. Guys, this is fucked up. This is so sad. Poor Bing Bong. Poor Bing Bong. I was terrible to him, Chad. I've been terrible to Bing Bong in the past. Bing Bong Airlines was his pride and joy. He came up with the branding all by himself and kickstarted the project using his own funds. With help of a few lucky investors, and even luckier fact that his competitors in low-budget flights were quickly going down right as he had started, Bing Bong Airlines had soon become the #1 name in budget aviation. Sure, he managed to save a few $1,000,000 by paying his technicians a lower wage. Sure, he had let a long-time engineer go to save on costs. But Bing Bong Airlines made up in charm and community appreciation for what it lacked in technical aspects. The people loved Bing Bong. Kids would go beg their parents to fly on his planes purely to get their limited edition Bing Bong plushie, his own invention. He would get stopped in the street for pictures, and even had his own set of merchandise released: a propeller hat, a knitted green top, Bing Bong TM low-waisted pants, and more. Bing Bong Airlines isn't just an airline. It is an experience. Bing Bong reminisced on all of that as he walked into the dreadfully empty Bing Bong Airlines section of the airport, dozens of Bing Bong TM novelty items untouched. No one taking pictures at the photo booth. Not even one bored onlooker messing around with a giant chess set. Dude, they're describing the airport. That's crazy. It's like I'm really in there. It's like I'm really back in peak right now. I'm so proud I submitted this. Good find, Gene. Good find, Gene. Sorry, back to the story. I'll continue. Where was I? Ever since his accountant had warned him that they would have to sell the airline sooner rather than later, Bing Bong had come here nearly every week trying to think of what he can do. And of course, this critical piece of news came right as the divorce was unfolding. No! Bing Bong screamed, almost shaking his accountant by the shoulders as he heard the news. Please don't. I'm sorry, but this is the only way out. We need to let it go, the accountant lamented. So you see, Bing Bong's life had unraveled at a rate that was almost comical. Do you understand? A plushie can only take so much. He tried, he really did. But what was the point of continuing those attempts? Not only regarding the airline and his finances, but his love and family and life too. Without Miriam and the kids there to greet him after a hard day's work, Bing Bong had nothing to motivate him to keep going. What did he have left? An airplane, an empty king-sized bed, kids' toys that would only be played with once a week, and a dream. This is really sad, guys. Bing Bong doesn't want to recall how that date went. He had gathered up the courage to ask out this beautiful woman he met by chance at the local supermarket. She accepted to go to dinner with him. "I'm Bing Bong," he introduced himself. "I'm Mildred," the woman giggled. She was completely unlike Miriam in appearance and personality too, as he later found out. So he thought he would be able to forget about his ex-wife and just have fun with this new paramour. But as soon as the wine arrived at their table, the tears came out like a flood. Mildred, sweet and kind Mildred, tried to comfort him, offering him a friendly ear. Before he could stop himself, he was telling her all about the separation, the kids, the papers, the attorneys, how Miriam had already moved on. "I miss my wife. I know, Bing Bong. I'm sorry. I miss my wife." I love how he only says the lines that his plushie says in the fucking terminal. It's awesome. Bing Bong had ruined it. He wasn't ready to go back to the dating scene. Not this soon. Mildred called him an Uber and waited for it to arrive. Bing Bong was still tipsy, hanging by her shoulder and silently sniffing his tears away. "You know, Bing Bong," Mildred began, offering him another napkin, "maybe you could talk to a professional about this." "No," Bing Bong whispered. I think that would be good for you. I'm in therapy too, you know. My friend had a divorce like you, and she went to therapy as well. It really helped her come to terms with what happened to move on. If you'd like, I can ask her for—" "No!" Bing Bong repeated, louder this time, realizing his mistake. He silently apologized and lowered his tone. "I think that's a bad idea." "Why?" Mildred asked. "I know it can be scary to talk to a stranger about your life, but it's better to give something a try than to stay put in the same place, don't you think?" Nuh-uh, says Bing Bong. Was the last thing Bing Bong remembered saying before he blacked out. Bing Bong had a dream. On a mountainous island in the middle of nowhere, home to no one, a rocky beach, a tall jungle, an icy mountain, and a volcano surrounded by floating rocks. In that dream, Bing Bong climbed and climbed and climbed. He reached the top of the rocks and the mountains. He survived the risky jumps and the falls, and he swore would hurt like hell, running purely on adrenaline and nothing else. Bing Bong climbed. On top of the volcano, there was a peak, a beautiful, dreamy, little green hill decorated by flowers of all colors. Just by seeing it, he felt at peace. It reminded him of the fun, eventful picnics he, Miriam, and the kids would go on every second Saturday of the month. He and Miriam would sit and watch the kids play and frolic in the park's grass. Miriam would feed him her own homemade cookies, and Bing Bong would wipe away leaves that would get stuck in her silky hair. That always made her laugh. She was the most beautiful when she laughed. And in the dream, just as he was about to reach the hill, he could see Miriam and Jimmy waving at him. He woke up. Holy shit. "Hope you're doing okay. The landlord let me in. Drink plenty of water when you wake up and take aspirin. Here's the therapist contact. He's a specialist in the area. Hope you feel better soon. Mildred." "I'm not sure," Bing Bong whispered to himself as he read the number, noted down in sweet Mildred's handwriting. He really did need help. He recognized that. But wouldn't talking about it make it all worse? He'd have to recall all the pain, And the good moments too, which only makes the pain worse. No, it's not a good idea. Therapy can't dig him out of this hole. It can't magically fill his business's bank account. It can't bring Miriam back. No mental health professional can turn back time and bring Bing Bong back to that beautiful peak. That's something he'll only ever see in his dreams now. Bing Bong quickly wrote a text message to Mildred, thanking her for looking after him and apologizing for what happened. He was not ready to take this step, he explained. How will you, if you're dealing with this all by yourself? Mildred's response was not enough to convince him. Bing Bong, I'm concerned about what you'll do if you don't talk about your feelings. What are you going to do? Bing Bong only wrote one sentence in response, shutting down the subject. I'm not comfortable answering that. Dude, I have a comment. Sometimes, in fan fiction, sometimes a character will say something, and you're like, he wouldn't say that. But in this case, he definitely would say that, and he does, canonically. Kind of crazy. Okay. We continue on. It's so accurate, I know. The truth is, Bing Bong never dreamed of becoming a family man or even having his own airline named after himself as a kid. He wanted to become an astronaut as a teen. All he cared about was tabletop games. Miriam was the one who, in early adulthood, inspired him to make his life something more. But there was something that Bing Bong had never done. Something he had been curious about for some time. Bing Bong had never actually flown on a Bing Bong Airlines plane before. He didn't have to, after all. Bing Bong Airlines was for budget flights, and until recently, Bing Bong didn't need to budget. Maybe now it's the time. Who knows? Perhaps sudden inspiration will hit him as he's up in the skies, looking at what he's been able to build and what he could do to save it from being sold and scrapped for parts. And Mildred had told him to do something instead of staying still. This is something. Yes, it's a good idea. Chat like, no, Bing Bong, no, don't do it. Well, it's his airline, man. He probably should fly on it, shouldn't he? Right? I mean, right? Bing Bong, don't get on the plane. Hold on, I'm gonna have a sip of water. Don't get on the plane, Bing Bong. He'll go bing boom. True. Where were we? Hold on. Bing Bong purchased the plane tickets, the first one he found, and headed to Gate 7 as soon as he could. He checked in, set his bags, and waited for his plane. It was a long wait. But the excitement of doing something different, something that could change things for the better, kept him occupied. Instead of thinking about Miriam, he thought of what he could see on his trip, what realizations he could come to in his travels. It was Bing Bong Airlines, after all. Not just any old stinky corporate airline. Bing Bong Airlines was different. It wasn't only an airline, but an experience. And Bing Bong was ready for one. He was ready for anything that would make him forget. Gate 7, Group A. As the gate began to open, Bing Bong lined up right behind a small group of colorful scouts, and so Bing Bong left behind all the hurt. Just for a little while. Uh-oh. It hurts. Where are we? Nobody's responding to the flare. Pink, do you see the luggage? Careful, Blue, the wing's on fire. Okay, guys, we should try and climb up that mountain and maybe we can call for help there. Wait, don't leave me. I still haven't made any new memories. I haven't found a way to reach that place. I haven't said I'm sorry to Jimmy and Katie and Brooke. And that I loved Miriam until the very end. I I don't want to die. Hey, hold on, hold on. Someone's on the seat. We should help him up. Never leave a scout behind, remember? Bing Bong couldn't see where the blue scout was headed. He was placed inside his backpack, almost slipping out, and still somehow secure as the group began to climb and jump around the shore's rocks. I don't know, Yellow began, opening some luggage. He's taken up a lot of space, and we only have one backpack. And if we find some climbing gear, or a good first aid kit, we're gonna need space. We can't abandon him to die, Blue argued. But we can't climb, and he's not useful for. But we can't climb, and he's not useful for climbing, is he? He's just Bing Bong. Pink chimed in, shrugging. Blue hummed, stopping for a moment to place his backpack in the sand. He picked up Bing Bong and looked straight at him. Bing Bong, do you have any experience climbing? Blue asked, squeezing him upbeat. If I say yes, will you take me with you? Blue laughed. You're funny. Don't worry, we're not leaving you behind. Scout's honor. Bing Bong was safely placed in the back of the backpack, this time more snugly. He wondered what would happen next. There was still so much he wanted to do, as the scouts climbed, and wondered if they would reach the peak he had dreamed of, or if this was all the beginning of a nightmare. Regardless, he felt alive. Wow. Let's go, Bing Bong. End it's cinema, end it's cinema, end it's cinema. And that's what we call cinema. Wow. Fun fact, I'm a psychologist IRL. I believe Bing Bong can find healing. He just needs better coping methods. If you enjoyed, leave a comment and kudos. I'll leave kudos as a guest. Thank you. I'm leaving guest kudos. Thank you for this Bing Bong fan fiction. Absolute peak, absolute cinema. Wow. ASMR Bing Bong fan fiction. I bet you never thought that you'd be listening to that on a Monday morning, huh? First ever fanfic. Beautiful, beautiful fan fiction. What are the tags? The tags are Bing Bong and Miriam, Bing Bong an original female character, Scouts, Bing Bong peak, original female characters, divorce angst, Bing Bong is depressed, canon compliant with some headcanons, and filling in the blank spaces, emotional hurt, comfort, therapy, a psychological breakdown of Bing Bong, and a bit comedic also, if we're being real. True. Good job. The only way for this could have been better if the Gay Girls read it with you. Well, the thing is, this Gay Girls is asleep. We tried to cold call her earlier, but she did not pick up. Imagine I cold call Fairy and I say, Fairy, peek? And she shows up in stream and I'm like, oh no, we're not playing. We're just reading fan fiction. Thank you, Jean. Beautiful, beautiful fan fiction that we read here. Okay, here's another one. Oh, wait. That's a lie. Okay. Is this Adventures of Snail Kate and Worm V? I believe that this is a series. Gina's actually clapping in the VC with me right now. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Gay Girls is always asleep. That's true. This is Arcane. I believe we have this too by Lady Danger. We have a white Wattpad fic. And we have some of these as well. So, let's, I believe Lady Danger, we know Lady Danger, right? This is Lady Danger from here. This is, Iron Lung fanfiction. This Iron Lung fanfiction. If I say yes, will you take me with you? Rickles, did you listen to the fanfiction? Did you hear it? Rickles, did you hear? It's fanfiction ASMR time. What's this music? I want to save it for my Spotify. I'm going to be real. I just opened up a playlist called Spa Lounge. It's called Spa Lounge, if you want to find it. It's got 200,000 saves. I heard Bing Bong a lot. Well, we read Bing Bong fan fiction. It was very sad. He's divorced. He's divorced, Rickles. Okay, good. Thanks, Miss Worm. You're welcome. You're welcome. Enjoy. Okay. Are we ready to read? So wait, this is an Iron Lung fanfiction by Lady Danger 420. It was odd the way the captain referred to the SM. Wait, are there any pairings in this? Ava Iron Lung, the convict Simon Iron Lung, original characters. Post canon. Okay. I'm ready for the Iron Lung fan fiction. Let's go. Who's Ava? Wait, who's Ava? Can someone tell me before we start again? I don't remember. Who's Ava Iron Lung? The captain? Like the voice? Captain Ava, like the other captain? Or like his boss? Oh, like his boss then, not the person from the other ship that he finds. Evil captain who got murked. Yeah, his boss. Okay, I just want to make sure. Who's ready for some more fan fiction ASMR? It's time. Static by Lady Danger 420. It was odd the way the captain referred to the SM-13. All the other rovers were either it or she, a holdover from ancient Earth ships, but the SM-13 was always him. There's something else on the radio when Ruth goes down. Notes. I don't know if I'll say this is canon, but I don't know if this will stay canon to the AU, but I like to consider points of views. And it was fun to write. Ava barely survived the rescue attempt, but lost her lower leg, and has a lot more health issues from almost being crushed by a giant blood monster. Ruth has been living in my head for a hot minute, and I've just been trying to figure out how to best use her. She's a salvage diver. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go. Time for some Iron Lung fan fiction. What do you do if you encounter a problem? The captain's voice was firm, as if she hadn't asked this question several times before. Radio up for help. Ruth wasn't an amateur. She'd done salvage missions before, but none in this basin. None where the SM-13 had gone down. And if you can't make contact, flip the switch and keep calling. She wasn't entirely sure how that would help. If the switch engaged a booster of some kind, why not wire it into the main radio? But she didn't know much about electronics. She was just a salvage diver. Good. Hopefully you won't need to. But things can get hazardous down there. The scars over the captain's eye and the prosthetic leg visible at the cuff of her jumpsuit spoke to that. Ruth knew she'd make 2 dives herself. The first had been exploratory. No one would talk about the second, other than to say she'd barely returned from it. You have your coordinates. If anything seems off, take a picture. We've put as much shielding as we can spare into it, so it's better to see what you're dealing with than go in blind. If you take the 13, bring him home. It was odd, the way the captain referred to the SM-13. All of the other rovers were either it or she, a holdover from ancient Earth ships, but the SM-13 was always him. Ava wanted to pace. She couldn't. She couldn't bring herself from moving from the mic, fingers gripping the desk, until they went white from lack of circulation. The last ship they'd sent down I get the data, you bring me up. That's a deal. That's fair. You get the data, I'll come to get you myself. She was going to keep her promise. Maybe not exactly, as she said, but he deserved that much. And they needed whatever they could salvage from that ship. Resources running low enough. The steel alone was worth the risk. As looking down there, she cut herself off. A sickening feeling was welling up inside her. You sent me down here to die, and you don't even know my name? All good. Pressure in O2, holding steadily. Holding steady. Looks like I should be at the bottom in a few minutes. Ruth wasn't a convict. After the loss of the SM-13, the near loss of the SM-14, and the recovery of the SM-8's black box, they'd stopped sending convicts down. Stopped sending anyone for a long time. What? She almost missed the word. It was quiet and muffled, like it had been spoken facing away from the in-cabin mic. Ruth, what's happening? I thought I heard someone else on the radio. Someone might be hopping frequencies. The nausea in her gut worsened. What did they say? It sounded like a man. I couldn't tell what he was saying. I'm sorry. He sounded baffled, but not as distraught as a yelp, the sound of shuffling in the cabin. What do you mean? I'm the salvage diver. Ruth, what's going on? She demanded, fingernails nearly cracking from how tight she was gripping the edges of the comms desk. I hear what he's saying down there. What? There's a moment of silence. Tell them to stop throwing lives away down there. Ava could feel herself go pale. Ruth, we're stopping your descent. She takes a breath, far less steady than she would have preferred. I need you to ask what his name is. The silence. There's silence for a few seconds. He says he can hear you, and she already knows what Ruth is going to say, even before the words come out. He says his name is Simon, and that you should know that. Ava is silent for somewhere between a second and an eternity, finally letting out a shaky breath. Ruth, meet the pilot of the SM-13. Interesting. So this is like the movie, right? This is like fanfic of the movie. That's pretty cool. Pretty atmospheric. Post-canon. That's pretty interesting. So wait, we also have The Adventures of Snail Kate and Worm V from League of Legends. Are they snails? Are they snail and worm? POV or GF turns into a snail? POV or GF turns into a worm? This has 700 kudos. Let's freaking go. Okay. It's only 2. Good morning, Chobit Complex. Good morning. Welcome to Fanfiction ASMR. I hope you guys are feeling extremely relaxed. I hope you're all feeling extremely relaxed and calm. And ready to relax even more with POV. Your girlfriend turns into a snail. Read by me, your host, Giwi. Okay, I've never been so relaxed. Yeah, you're welcome. I made it just in time. That's right, Chobit, but try not to fall back asleep, because you're about to feel really, really, really calm. You're about to feel really calm and comfy with this beautiful story. POV or GF turns into a snail. I'm not reading the tags, actually surprised me. What are you going to do? Cassandra lifts her chin and straightens her shirt. I'm going to find my daughter. Caitlin turns into a snail and follows V around. Vi. Sorry, Vi. Why do I always want to read it like that? Missing. Vi is on her way to work when she hears Did you hear? The Kiraman girl? Hasn't been home in days. No word. The counselor. She's off like a shot. Vi sprints through Piltover, weaves between its citizens, jumps over the decorative half-walls, and tramples over the matriculous lawns, the gates of Kiraman Manor tower in front of her. No time. She runs up one of the stone columns and vaults over it. "Cassandra!" she shouts, landing heavy on the polished stone. "Miss Kiraman!" Large, heavy doors open. Vi scrambles up the stairs and comes to a stop in front of the Kiraman matriarch. She huffs and puffs, eyes wide, staring at her. I heard. Dark circles underneath red eyes. Quietly, Cassandra says, "Come inside." Her gaze darts over Vi's shoulder. Vi swallows and nods. She's led into the kitchen. "Violet." Tobias. Tired voice greets. He leans on the island. "Toby," Vi says, "what's going on? Is Kate?" She looks back and forth between him and Cassandra. Cassandra shakes her head. Detectives have combed every inch of the house for clues. They have boots on the ground in every corner of both cities. No one can find anything. It's like she just vanished. Tobias gestures with his hands into thin air. Vi furrows her brow and looks down at the countertop. I don't understand. She clenches her fists. I was with her Friday night. She didn't plan to go anywhere this weekend. It doesn't make sense. It's a waiting game until the detectives find something, Cassandra says. Vi snaps her head up and stares incredulously. You can't mean that you can't mean that. There must be something we can do. You and Tobias will stay here and wait. At this, Tobias narrows his eyes at his wife. Cassie? Cassandra shares a meaningful look with her husband. Vi finds herself looking away, not wanting to intrude. You've been away all weekend, Violet. The garden misses your presence. Cassandra's voice grows soft. Caitlin will appreciate it looking nice when we find her. You know how she loves to spend her time there. What are you going to do? Cassandra lifts her chin and straightens her shirt. I'm going to find my daughter. The fucking snail emoji is awesome. The little snail emoji. This is so sick. I feel like Adriana would really like this fan fiction. I think she would be a big fan. Okay. Vi walks mechanically into the garden, squints at the mid-morning light. It feels odd to go about business as usual with the heavy weight of her girlfriend's disappearance on her shoulders. Despite it all, she doesn't have the heart to fight Cassandra on the matter. Despite it all, something in the back of her mind is telling her that the garden is the right place to be. Vi tugs on a pair of gloves. The only thing to do in a garden is garden, she supposes. She examines a bed of plants. It needs pruning for sure, she thinks. There's a snail on one of the leaves. She means to cut it off. It stares at her expectantly. "Aw, little guy," Vi mutters. "I'm sorry, but you can't be here." She maneuvers it onto her glove. The snail's shell catches the light, and she can't help but hold it up. "Whoa," she breathes. "You're so pretty. Your shell is like a sparkly blue color in the sun." Vi tilts her head left and right before she lowers her hand and smiles. Kate's hair is real pretty in the sun too. I'll make sure to find you a new home, Snail Kate. Don't worry. She sets the snail down on the handle of the toolbox. Why don't you hang out here while I work? Surprisingly, the snail sticks around while Vi tends to the garden. At the end of the day, she finds a shaded spot under the blueberry bushes, then gently sets the snail down in the dirt. Thanks for the company, Snail Kate. Vi picks a blueberry and sets it in front of the snail. Here, dinner for you. The snail just stares at Vi. Vi sighs and shakes her head. What am I doing? Talking to a snail. Huh. See you around, Snail Kate. She grunts and pushes herself to her feet. Stay safe out there. Dude, the snail emojis are so peak. They're so good. Hi, Shiny Goog. Welcome in. Okay. Sorry, water. 1 second. I'm gonna have some water. Days pass without a word. Vi is taken to sleeping in Kiraman Manor, in a guest room, close to Caitlin's empty one. She dines with Cassandra and Tobias, and when she retires for the night, she pretends not to hear their muffled worrying, pretends that she doesn't see the exhausted set of Cassandra's shoulders when she returns home each evening. The snail is following her. Tuesday morning, the snail sat waiting in her toolbox. Same on a Wednesday. She gave up rehoming the snail then, returning the toolbox to its storage with a leaf and a blueberry for its new inhabitant. Thursday morning, the snail was still there with the same expectant stare. Well, as much as a snail can stare. It's Friday evening now. Vi lies, cooling down under a peach tree with the snail on her glove. It's been a whole week, Snail Kate. She sighs and wriggles her shoulders, trying to get comfortable. You wouldn't know where your human counterpart has gone, would you? She chuckles. Of course you wouldn't. Of course you don't. You're a snail. All you know is eat blueberry and sit on leaf, and I guess follow Vi around, huh? The snail does not respond. Vi sighs and shifts again. At her movement, the snail on her glove tips and falls. Vi squeezes her eyes shut and feels the snail bounce off the corner of her mouth. Vi opens her eyes to try and look for the snail, but a sudden bright light and a rush of wind has her holding her hand up. When she lowers it, she finds herself staring into the wide blue eyes of her missing girlfriend. They look at each other for less than a second before Caitlin falls and lands bodily on top of Vi. Oof! Vi grunts as the air leaves her lungs. Her arms come up automatically, hovering over Caitlin's back. Violet! Caitlin exclaims, pushing herself up. Oh, I'm so relieved. I knew you would figure it out. What? Figure out what? Vi stares, bewildered. Never mind that. Where have you been? Your parents and I have been worried sick. Oh, we have to find your parents. She moves to get up, but Caitlin is staring down at her in confusion. You didn't know? Caitlin asks. That I was the snail? Vi's jaw drops. What are you saying to me, Snail Kate? You're telling me that you were Snail Kate this whole time? Caitlin blinks and smiles. Aw, you named me? That is not the point. Vi gestures wildly. How were you a snail, and why are you not a snail anymore? At this, Caitlin grins. True love's kiss returned me to my human form. She brings her hands up to cradle Vi's face. I have never doubted my love for you, but it's nice to have it cosmically confirmed. I quite enjoy being right. Vi blushes. I love you too, she says. You still haven't explained how you turned into a snail in the first place. A wizard cursed me. Caitlin shrugs. Oh, Vi pauses. Do you think it'll happen again? I should hope not. Yeah, same, Vi agrees. Let's go inside and tell your parents. Lead the way, my love. Wow, that's so beautiful. Can we get some snails in chat? Can we get some snails in chat? A beautiful tale. Who could have predicted this? Certainly not me. A wizard cursed me is a crazy ending. Yeah, they're like, yeah, stuff happened, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's about being turned into a snail. It doesn't matter how they got there. Wouldn't it be crazy if it happened again? I don't think that's likely. It seems like a pretty rare thing to happen. Thank you for the snails in chat. Wow. Thank you. Next work, please. Okay. I'll leave a kudo. I think it's only right. If I read someone's fan fiction in a stream, I feel like it's only correct to leave a kudo, even if it's a guest one. Next work. POV, your GF turns into a worm. Would you still love me if I was a worm? Wow. Damn. This is so on the nose. We love this. This is perfect for ASMR fanfiction night. Would you still love me if I was a worm? Part 2. Caitlin wakes up and Vi is gone. There's a worm. Piltover's finest detective puts 2 and 2 together. Alright, I'm excited. I'm excited for part 2. It starts on a random afternoon. Cupcake, what kind of fruits would we be? Caitlin looks up from her book. Vi, mid sit-up, gazes at her innocently. What brought this on, darling? Caitlin asks. Vi shrugs, resuming her workout. Just thinking. You know. She grunts, curls up, and then eases back down. I think that you would be a blueberry. Is that just because because your hair's blue? Yeah. Caitlin and Vi speak at the same time. In that case, then you would be a strawberry because your hair is red. Caitlin reaches down and ruffles Vi's hair, bringing a cute little scrunch to the brawler's nose when she giggles, and she leaves and the leaves match how it spikes. I'll take it. Vi laughs. Caitlin smiles and returns to her book. No, the emotes aren't working. I bet this would have been a worm. This would have been a worm. Why isn't it working? What? This pisses me off. I know it's a worm. Dude, guys, can I tell you something? Can I tell you something in ASMR talk, though, because I'm trying to keep it calm? I'm trying to keep the whole vibe calm and relaxing. I'll say, as a VTuber with a worm, like the pink worm in my Oshi mark and not the purple one, it doesn't work on, like, a lot of websites. It's really, really annoying. They should add it. They should add it to more websites. Reload page. No, I just don't think that it loads on AO3. Giwi, what time is it for you? It's 4:25 in the morning. Yay, good morning. Okay, back to fanfiction. If you were a ghost, would you haunt me? Vi pokes her head out from the bathroom, hair mussed from being towel dried. I'd haunt you, but in a cute way, she continues. Like putting flowers on your table and drawing hearts on the mirror with my breath. Caitlin pauses, shirt half pulled over her head, arms askew. Vi chuckles and nods at her exposed chest. Nice, she smirks. Caitlin huffs and pulls her shirt down, cheeks flushing. I would haunt you in an annoying way. She flusters. I'd tie your shoelaces together and cut holes in your socks. Vi gasps dramatically. Oh, the betrayal, she laments, hanging her head. Caitlin rolls her eyes, pursing her lips together to keep from smiling. Finish up, won't you? We'll be late for dinner. You got it, baby. Vi winks and ducks back into the bathroom. Would you still love me if I was a worm? Vi sleepily tilts her head back from its resting place on Caitlin's chest. They're napping in the garden. Snacks and chilled beverages spread out on a picnic blanket. Wow, two fan fictions bringing up picnics tonight. Kind of interesting. Sun beaming down from high up in the sky. Caitlin hums, more than used to Vi's strange questions by now. Yes, love, I would still love you if you were a worm. Thank God. She brings her hands up and runs them through Vi's hair, feeling her girlfriend melt against her side. I'd love you if you were a worm too. Vi mumbles, remember when you turned into a snail? You promised you wouldn't bring that up again. Caitlin whines, and Vi already had fallen asleep, so Caitlin just sighs and relaxes, falling into a slumber after her. When Caitlin wakes, she is alone. The sun was hidden behind a swath of clouds, and a warm weight of her girlfriend is dreadfully absent. There's a cold, wriggling sensation in her palm. When she looks down to investigate, she gasps. A pink earthworm inching its way towards her wrist. Caitlin freezes. It couldn't be. Right? There's no way. The wizard that turned her into a snail had exploded in a shower of magical sparks, promptly after casting their diabolical spell. Oh, how convenient. What are the odds of a second equally mischievous wizard? The second equally mischievous wizard had come forth and turned her darling girlfriend into a worm. The worm, no, Vi, pauses her wriggling and lifts one end of her worm body to presumably stare up at Caitlin. Would you still love me if I was a worm? The words echo in Caitlin's mind. The answer was and is yes. The key to Caitlin's return to her human form was true love's kiss. Does that apply here as well? More importantly, does she love Worm Vi enough to kiss a worm? This answer, after a moment of pondering, was also a yes. Oh my. Worm kissing? With a determined set of her jaw and a rallying breath, Caitlin squeezes her eyes shut and plants one solid kiss on the worm's head. Nothing. No bright flash of light. No nebulous swirls of magic. No girlfriend. She leans down and kisses the worm again. Once. Twice. When that doesn't work, she furrows her brow and kisses the other side. Not the 15th segment. Not the 15th segment. Don't do it. Nothing. Caitlin takes the logical next step and panics. No. Violet, please. Kate? Caitlin whirls around. Vi is standing behind her, a bag of chips between her teeth and a glass of lemonade in each hand. What are you? Vi starts before catching sight of the worm cupped in Caitlin's hand. No fucking way. The bag of chips falls to the ground as Vi's jaw drops. Caitlin hurriedly and gently sets the worm, not Vi, down in the dirt. It's not what it looks like. Looks like you were kissing that worm, Vi exclaims. Aw, baby. Caitlin groans and buries her face in her hands. I thought it was you. The picnic blanket shifts as Vi sets the drinks down and kneels next to Caitlin. Strong, calloused hands pry Caitlin's own away from her face. Vi's beautiful blue-gray eyes and glowing, freckled smile greets her. Thanks for trying to get the worm me back, even it wasn't actually me. Vi leans forward and places a lingering kiss on the corner of Caitlin's mouth. I love you lots, she whispers. Caitlin bites her lip and gathers Vi into her lap. I love you too, Caitlin says. As a strawberry, as a ghost, as a worm? Vi interrupts, giggling. Caitlin pinches Vi's side. Yes, as a worm. She acquiesces with a sigh. In all forms forevermore. Vi hums happily, tucking her head under Caitlin's chin. Fancy words for someone who just kissed a worm. Violet! Wow. Beautiful fan fiction. Beautiful worm kissing here tonight. Fell asleep with Twitch on my phone. How did I get here? Well, you're about to fall asleep again because we've gotten so comfortable and cozy reading fan fiction ASMR. Wow, that was a beautiful... I wish we could have seen the worm emotes in this, but it's still, like, really good. I leave a kudos. Good job. Beautiful worm kissing fan fiction. POV, your girlfriend turns into a worm. The plot twist was crazy. Wonderful message of mine got pinned. Fellas, not to be romantical, but anyone wanting to be two equally mischievous wizards with me? And presidents seeking wizards? Seeking co-wizard? Seeking mischievous co-wizard? Kate's POV. Oh, true. That's what she did. Kiss the worm butt. She turned it around. This is true. This is true. See what Ross thinks of this fic. I think he's asleep, guys. I woke up to this beautiful story. Wow. That was some nice fan fiction, guys. That was some beautiful, beautiful fan fiction. I thought you said cope wizard. No, that's a different kind of wizard. That's a completely different type of wizard, actually. I feel like, like after you've drank not a ton, but like you've drank any amount of alcohol, and then like a few hours later, even though like You're not tipsy or hungover or anything. You just get really, really thirsty. I'm like getting hit with that. I'm so after. I guess it was chugging a giant Sapporo and buzzball shots that got me. You're not getting me to sleep with those, but they're good. Fair enough. Fair enough. Which one was your favorite? Drunk? That was early. That was way earlier. That was way earlier. It was part of the wheel. I had to drink. I had to shotgun a beer. You have to understand. I've had a really busy night. We shotgunned a beer. We did a bunch of buzzball shots. We played golf. And now we're reading fan fiction. The perfect weekend. the perfect weekend. Don't you have another half an open beer? Oh no, I drank the rest of the beer during golf. I finished it. I think Bing Bong was my favorite, but they were all good. Yeah, I think Bing Bong was really good. Snail Kate was awesome. I agree. It was also, they just kind of cute. I think the Snail Kate fanfiction series was cute. Been loving the subathon. Giwi is the best. Yay, I'm glad you're having fun. I'm having fun. Bing Bong's Chungus life was really good. Dude, the Bing Bong tragedy, but like the bittersweet ending of the scouts bringing him up the mountain. Wow. Almost makes me feel sorry for Bing Bong. I'm glad you enjoyed my submission. Sorry I submitted 3. No, they're very good, Gene. They also got the top amount of votes. So they had very high votes. They had very high votes. I also liked the Iron Lung one. It had like a more heavy vibe. A more serious vibe. It was the most detailed and the most funny to me. The concept was golden, and oh my god, it was really funny. That was my favorite. But the Bing Bong one, I think they were all really good. I think they were all good fan fictions.